Once upon a time, in a vibrant town filled with colorful markets and lively festivals, there lived a beautiful 28-year-old woman named Amara. With her radiant smile and captivating presence, she turned heads wherever she went. Her long flowing hair danced into the gentle breeze, and her laughter echoed like music through the streets. Despite her beauty, Amara faced a dilemma that weighed heavily upon her heart. She had four suitors, each vying for her affection, yet none matched her genotype, which made her heart heavy with concern. On a beautiful Saturday morning, when Amara had prepared to go to market to get foodstuffs, on her way, she was halted by a flashy green Porsche. Alighting from the car is a handsome, good-looking young man, whose name is Obinna. Obinna approaches Amara. "Hey, beautiful, my name is Obinna. I'm from this village, and you?" said Obinna. Amara responded, "Good morning, sir. My name is Amara, and I'm also from this village." "You are gorgeous, Amara. I was on my way to my mother's place. I just returned from Lagos, and I will appreciate if I get to know you more, Amara," Obinna requests. Amara responded, "It will be my pleasure, sir." Obinna and Amara exchanged contacts, and they both carried on with their endeavors. As day passes, their communication became stronger, and they grew a strong bond that led to knowing each other's family. In love, they shared everything, unknown to them that it is not going to be a forever. It was heartbreaking when Amara shared her genotype results with Obinna. They both cried bitterly, and after a while, both families separated in peace since their children were not a match. For months, Amara wore a look of sadness. Soon there was a glimpse of hope. Another gentleman named Emeka proposed to Amara. But alas, he shares the same genotype with Amara. This broke Amara. This time, she became a shadow of herself. You barely see her smile. Amara, the gorgeous, smart, and reserved young lady, is a girl every mother in the village would love to have as a daughter-in-law. So suitors never ceases to come. Among them was Chike, a persistent suitor whose love for Amara was as fierce as the midday sun. He was known for his charming wit and warm-hearted nature, always finding ways to make her smile. Amara admired Chike's determination, but deep down, she knew that their union could lead to serious health issues for their future children, as she carried the AS genotype. To help him understand the gravity of the situation, she shared a poignant story of a couple she once knew. They had fallen in love without considering their genotypes, and their children suffered from sickle cell disease, a fate that brought them perpetual pain and heartache. Chike listened intently, his heart breaking for the couple's struggles. The pain in Amara's voice resonated with him, and he ultimately respected her decision to prioritize their future, even if it meant stepping back from his feelings. As the sun set each evening, casting a golden hue over the town, the townspeople often speculated about Amara's beauty and wondered why she remained single. They whispered about her possible engagement, but only she knew the truth behind her solitude. Each day, she fought back tears, feeling the weight of time pressing upon her. The laughter of children playing outside her window reminded her of the family she longed for, but felt she could never have. Despite her outward charm and the admiration of many, her heart ached with the loneliness of her choice. She often wandered through the vibrant markets where the scent of spices and fresh flowers filled the air. Yet, she felt like a ghost among the living. Amara knew that true love sometimes meant making the hardest decision for the sake of others, and she carried that burden with grace, hoping that one day she would find a way to reconcile her dreams with her reality. Amara was left devastated once more. She felt as if fate was playing a cruel joke on her, presenting her with suitors only to snatch away any hope of a future with them. Each proposal brought a mix of excitement and dread, knowing the outcome could likely lead to heartbreak. Days turned weeks. Amara found herself wandering through the vibrant town, where laughter and joy surrounded her, yet her heart felt heavy with sorrow. She often visited the market where she used to shop with a smile, but now she moved through the stalls with a distant gaze, lost in her thoughts. Then, one fateful evening, while sitting under the stars, Amara received a message from a new suitor named Uche. He had heard of her beauty and strength, and he was eager to meet her. Amara's heart fluttered with a mix of hope and apprehension. Could this be the one who would finally break the cycle of disappointment? When they met, Uche was charming and kind, and they shared many laughs and stories. However, as their bond grew, so did Amara's anxiety about revealing her genotype. The weight of her past experience loomed over her, but she knew she had to be honest. One quiet afternoon, Amara took a deep breath and shared her results with Uche. "I need to tell you something important," she said, her voice trembling. "I am AS." Uche's expression changed, and Amara's heart sank as he replied, "I am also AS." Tears filled Amara's eyes as she realized that the circle was repeating itself. They both sat in silence, the weight of their shared fate crashing down on them. Despite their connection, they knew they could not pursue a future together. As Amara walked home that evening, the vibrant colors of the town felt dull and lifeless. She longed for love that could withstand the trials of life, but it seemed that destiny had other plans. With each step, she carried the burden of her heartache, hoping that someday she could find a way to break free from the chains of her genotype and find true happiness. Some days after, as Amara walked through the hustling market, the vibrant colors of the fruits and vegetables seemed to fade in comparison to the whispers that followed her. The women greeted her with forced smiles, their eyes glancing at one another, filled with curiosity and judgment. "Good morning, Amara," one of the women called out, her voice sweet but laced with underlying tension. "Morning," Amara replied, trying to shake off the unease creeping into her heart. As she moved from stall to stall, she could hear the snips of conversation. "Did you see how she turned down yet another suitor?" one woman whispered, her voice barely above a murmur. "Yes, it's almost as if she has a spiritual husband keeping her from marrying," another replied, shaking her head in disbelief. "Such beauty, yet she remains alone. It's unnatural." Amara felt a pang of sadness, but kept her head high. She approached a vendor selling fresh vegetables, trying to focus on her shopping. "Amara dear, why do you reject all the good men? You could have your pick," the vendor said, her tone light but probing. Amara forced a smile, knowing they would never understand. "It's complicated," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Once she finished her purchase, she turned to leave, catching snips of their conversation again. "She must be hiding something," one woman said, her voice dripping with suspicion. "Maybe she's a witch after all." Amara's heart sank as she walked away, the weight of their conversation heavy on her shoulders. They knew nothing of her struggles, of the secret she carried that kept her from embracing love. All they saw was a beautiful woman, and in their ignorance, they spun tales that only deepened her loneliness. The sun hung low in the sky as Amara made her way to the church, her heart heavy with the weight of the villagers' whispers. She had resisted going for so long, but the constant gossip had become unbearable. As she stepped inside, the familiar scent of incense filled her nostrils, mingling with the sound of hymns echoing through the air. The congregation turned to look at her, some with curious eyes, others with judgment. She felt their stares piercing through her, igniting the flames of their rumors. Taking a deep breath, she found a seat at the back, hoping to remain unnoticed. As his pastor spoke about faith and deliverance, Amara's mind drifted. Maybe I am really married to a spiritual husband, she muttered to herself. The thought became absurd and terrifying. Maybe that is why I can't find true love. The pastor's voice rose, speaking of breaking curses and yoke that bind. Amara's heart raced as she contemplated her situation. What if I could break this curse? She thought, her determination growing. What if I could free myself from whatever holds me back? After the service, she approached the pastor, her voice trembling. Pastor, do you believe it's possible to break a yoke that binds someone? The pastor looked at her with compassion. With faith, my child, all things are possible. You must believe that you can be free from whatever is holding you back. Amara nodded, a flicker of hope igniting within her. I want to break this curse, she said firmly. I want to be free. As she left the church, the sun had set, but Amara felt a renewed sense of purpose. She would seek the truth, confront the whispers, and find a way to reclaim her life, no longer defined by the rumors of the villagers. The next morning, Amara sat by the window, watching the rain trickle down the glass, each drop reflecting her thoughts. The weight of the villagers' gossip had begun to lift, replaced by a new understanding of her situation. It wasn't a spiritual cause that plagued her. With a deep breath, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. The rumors of being a witch or having a spiritual husband faded into the background, no longer holding powers over her. Amara realized that she could focus on what truly matters, her life and her future. She closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, asking God for strength and guidance. I know there is someone out there for me, she thought, her heart filled with hope. Someone with the right genotype who will love me for who I am, not for what others say. Amara opened her eyes, a smile creeping onto her face. She decided to ignore the gossip and trust in God and faith. She would wait for the right man to come into her life, one who would understand her journey and accept her completely. With renewed faith, Amara turned away from the window, ready to embrace her life with positivity. She would no longer be defined by the whispers of the village, but by her strength and resilience. The future was bright, and she was ready to face it head on, hopeful for love and acceptance.